wrote my notes for you guys on a Chick-fil-A napkin. Special. Okay, I think one of the things that a lot of us overlook in our hair care routine is the way that we are shampooing our hair. Often it's the last thing we think about. We're thinking about things like conditioners and hair masks and heat protectants and all that. I talk about all of that in a video that I did on my channel that was pretty popular, and for good reason. You know, a lot of us are struggling with hair that's a little bit more damaged, that's brittle looking, and we want it to look healthy. So I address all of that in that video. I'll link it down below. But in this video, I want to talk about shampooing. And shampooing is something that we just are not doing correctly. This doesn't really sound like it's a thing, but I can assure you it is. If you are not shampooing your hair properly, meaning you're not using the right product for your scalp and you're not using the right technique, you are you are gonna sabotage the rest of your hair care routine. Because if you are shampooing correctly, you can go longer between shampoos, thereby preserving the integrity of your hair. And the biggest mistake with shampooing is a lot of us are looking for shampoos that are tailored for the ends of our hair. And I was making this mistake for so many years. I was shopping for shampoos based on the lengths of my hair. I color treat my hair and my hair tends to be dry and a little bit damaged. That is actually the wrong way to go about looking for a shampoo. The right way to do it is you want to shop for a shampoo that is tailored for your roots, the way your hair behaves at its root. So I've always had a little bit of an oilier root, but drier ends. But I was always getting shampoos formulated for dull, damaged hair. We're looking for shampoos that say for color treated hair, for dry hair, for damaged hair, because the lengths of our hair are colored, are dry, are damaged. So if you have drier, damaged ends, but a greasier scalp, like a scalp that after about that second or third day, you really feel like you have to wash, then your roots, the hair at your roots is oilier. You need to be looking for shampoos that can tackle the oil at the root. And if you have a drier scalp that's say dry and itchy and doesn't get oily, then it's okay to use the shampoos that are more for the damaged hair, the dull hair, the shampoos that say hydrating, because the surfactants in those shampoos are gonna be more gentle and they're not gonna be as irritating on your scalp. So that's the first thing I want to tell you is if you have an oilier scalp, look for shampoos that say clarifying, that say volume, that say detox. Those shampoos are going to really get in there and remove that dirt and that grime and that oil buildup at the scalp. And that's what you want. That's going to allow you to go longer in between shampoos so that you're not shampooing as often and your ends aren't getting dried out because you're shampooing all the time. Same thing goes for those drier, itchier scalps. Look for more gentle shampoos that say for dry hair, for damaged hair, give hydration. Those are going to be more gentle on your scalp. So that's the first thing I want to tell you is make sure that you are shopping for a shampoo that's geared to the way your scalp behaves. That's the reason why dry shampoos are so popular, because people have longer hair that's drier at the ends, but it's oilier at the root, and they don't want to shampoo as often because they know it's going to dry their hair out. But if you're shampooing correctly, you don't have to reach for the dry shampoo as much. If you're shampooing correctly with the right shampoo for your scalp, you actually should be getting away with at least 3 days in between washes. Now, if that sounds to you like a crazy proposition that there is no way that if you have an oilier scalp, you can go longer than 3 days, I want you to keep watching this because I'm gonna tell you the technique that you should be doing when you're shampooing in order to make sure that that can be a possibility. And yeah, there is a technique to shampooing your hair, and a lot of us are just doing it wrong. Now, a lot of us, when we are shampooing, we are actually just not going about it the right way. You're putting the shampoo into the palm of your hand, you're rubbing your palms together, and then you're working the shampoo into your scalp. But that is not precise enough. You shouldn't really have to liquefy and make a foam in the palms of your hands and then go into your scalp. What you should be doing is actually blobbing out out that shampoo and taking the product a little bit at a time and applying it to sections of your hair. Think about your head and just think about how you want to section out your hair as you're shampooing it. Most of us, if we are shoulder length or above, you can get away with about the size of, say, a nickel for your whole head. If you're long like me, I do about the size of a 50-cent piece, so about yay big or so, right? So put out the shampoo like a blob in your palm and then take a little bit at a time. You don't need to liquefy it. Take a little bit at a time, and I think of my head as a section. So this is a section, this is a section, the top, the crown's a section, the back of my head's a section, and then this portion like behind my ears, that's a section. So I take these blobs and I'll place it in sections all on my scalp. And then I'll go in with the pads of my fingers, not my nails, okay? And I'll go in, and that's when I start working that shampoo into my scalp. That way you're not compromising the efficacy of the shampoo. You're just letting it get onto the root and acting on it the way it really needs to by building up that foam with the pads of your fingers while the shampoo is on your scalp. And this is a little bit of truth time storytelling. It's a little bit gross, but I want you to learn from me, okay? So for a long time, I would always have to wash my hair after that second day. By that second day, I was feeling so gross. And I could even feel my hair feeling a little bit weighed down in the back of my head. And that area tends to collect a lot of oil and buildup for a lot of us. And that was what was happening. I wasn't actually getting in there with that shampoo at the root and getting that scalp clean. I was kind of just like, you know, the way they used to do in those Finesse and Prel commercials in the 80s and the 90s. Like you think that, you know, you're in there herbal essences, getting it. No, you got to get in there and just go with the pads of your fingers. So that's why my hair felt greasy on that second day. You have to really get in there with the pads of your fingers and get the product at the root and work it in and section off your hair. You're putting a blob here, a blob there, a blob here, a blob there, and you're getting in and you're working it in. Now, a lot of us think that if we wash twice, that is going to be drying to our hair. Not necessarily. You have to remember that our scalp is kind of like our skin when we're wearing heavier makeup at night. A lot of times we do find that we need to do a double cleanse. The first one really removes all that makeup and gunk, and the second cleanse is what actually cleanses our skin. Well, it's kind of like that with our scalp. And I'm sure you've noticed if you're in the shower and you are washing your hair, first wash, right? You're not getting as much sudsing going on that first time, and that's because the surfactants in the shampoo are gripping onto and adhering to that oil. So you're not gonna get all that suds for that first wash. And then when you go in and rinse, that's when that shampoo is able to act on that oil and that grease and that grime and that product, lift it away, and then it goes down the drain. But usually after that first wash, there's still a little bit of grime and oil left on your scalp. So that's when you go in with your second shampoo. You don't need as much shampoo the second time around. So I would say half what you used for the first wash. And I'll section out my hair exactly the way I did it for the first wash. And that second round, you'll notice more than likely a lot more suds. There's not as much oil and grime that the shampoo is acting on that second go around. So that's why more and more suds are foaming up. Now, what you want to do is you want to really take care to really rinse well. And when you're rinsing, I'm talking if you have to go in and you're standing in the shower and you're going all around, lift your hair and let that water get in there. And with the other hand, just move it around to make sure you're really getting all of the suds out of your hair. And you do not have to apply shampoo to the mids all the way down. You don't have to shampoo the lengths of your hair. You should never be taking shampoo and working it into the ends. That is overkill. You don't need to do that. When you're rinsing, the suds that are coming down from your roots are gonna travel through the rest of your hair, and that is more than enough to clean your lengths. Because remember, when we're shampooing to get our scalp clean, because the scalp is what has the grime, has the oil, has the buildup. Unless, for example, you have straight up dirt in your hair and you've got a shampoo to get the dirt out of the lengths. Well, that's one thing, but I'm talking about normal everyday life. Like, most of us are not getting dirt and just grossness in the lengths of our hair that we need to work in the shampoo to the lengths. So when you're rinsing, concentrate on rinsing that scalp and really getting in there and let that water get in there to rinse everything away. And trust me, the suds are gonna travel through the lengths of your hair. It's gonna get it clean. You're totally fine. Now, you will know when you're shampooing your hair correctly. You will know if you've got the right shampoo, and you will know if your technique in the shower that you're on the right track when you can start going longer in between shampoos. And if you're oily, you're gonna know you're on the right track because your scalp isn't getting as oily as quickly. And if you have a drier, more itchy scalp, you're gonna know you're on the right track because your scalp doesn't feel as dry and it doesn't feel as itchy. Now, a lot of people will probably say, well, what do you recommend for shampoos? Well, I have shampoos that I really do like, but unfortunately, shampoo's kind of one of those things. It's very individualized. I don't know what the state of your scalp is. You know the state of your scalp. If you are really oily really quickly and you've been used to, say, getting oily really quickly and you have to shampoo every day, I can guarantee you're probably using a shampoo that doesn't have as strong as a surfactant as your scalp needs in order to get and keep it clean. So you just need to start experimenting, and you need to go out and you need to find yourself a shampoo that's going to be able to tackle your oily roots. And you might have dandruff, you might have an itchy, flaky scalp. There's going to be shampoos out there that are targeted for your hair at the root, and those are the shampoos that you're going to want to seek out. Now, I used to always say, look for a professional shampoo. Don't go to the drugstore. Don't buy Suave. Don't buy Dove. Don't buy Pantene. But actually, the more research that I'm doing and the more I started realizing that shampoos should be tailored to your scalp and not your ends, I just really found out that that wasn't true. I am not going to shame anybody that uses Pantene and loves their Pantene, because guess what? Their volumizing shampoo, for example, is actually very good. And the surfactants in that shampoo personally allow me to go about 5 days in between shampoo, because that particular shampoo is really good on my scalp. It really gets it clean after 2 washes, and I don't get as greasy as quickly, so I'm not shampooing my hair as often, and my ends aren't getting as dry and brittle because I'm not shampooing all the time. So it's an individualized choice. I'll give you some of my recommendations, some things that I like, but again, I mean, do what is best for you. And that's really at any price point. I don't want you to allow anybody to shame you if your entire hair care routine is drugstore. There never should be a situation where you feel goated or guilted or feel like, oh my gosh, I have to spend $40 on a shampoo in order for it to really get my scalp clean. That's really not the case. So that's what I want you to do, is go out and find the right shampoo for your roots, whether they're oily, dry, or somewhere in between. Get the right shampoo that will really get and keep your scalp feeling fresher and cleaner longer. And then use the right technique when you are really working it into the scalp. So right now, if you only get 1 day in between shampoos, then that's going to be your homework. Go find a shampoo that is really going to help you with those oily, greasy roots. Get in the shower and soap up with that shampoo twice and really make sure that those roots are getting clean. With each sequential wash, you should have more and more lather. For most of us, it's usually after the second wash, but if you have really dirty, kind of oily buildup on your scalp, you might have to go in 3 times with a really good shampoo. But once it starts fluffing up really easy with that foam, you know that your scalp is clean. And remember, it's not just the soaping up. You have to really rinse, really give your hair a thorough rinse. And that's also going to keep your scalp really, really clean. Scalp health has everything to do with the way that our hair looks. So if you're taking care of your scalp correctly, everything else is going to fall into place. So let's get into the proper shampoo and let's get into the proper technique. So I hope this was helpful. I know it's a little silly, a video about how to shampoo your hair, but I'm all about simplicity. I'm all about getting back to basics. Again, don't break the bank on a shampoo. If you can only get a $7 bottle of Dove or Pantene, as long as it's the right Dove or Pantene for your roots, you will be fine. Get that scalp clean with the right shampoo and the right technique, and thank me later. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like and subscribe. It will really help me out. I so appreciate it. God bless, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.